Adams Ekeocha was the man every Lagos bachelor envied. Young, wildly successful, and as charismatic as they came. His tech company had just secured a multi-million naira foreign investment, and his name danced in magazines and online gossip columns. But even with all his wealth and charm, he lacked one thing: love that felt real. It was at a business gala in Victoria Island that he first saw her. She stood by the balcony, dressed in ocean blue satin that hugged her figure like it was woven. From the sea, her name was Joy. She spoke softly but with a weight that made Adams lean in. Her eyes held something ancient, deep pools that dared you to drown in them. "Are you always this quiet at parties?" Adams had asked, grinning. Joy smiled. "Some of us don't come to be seen, we come to be found." From that night, Adams was enchanted. She never talked much about her past, only that she was raised near a river in Edo, left as a child, and had lived all over. Everything about her was perfect, too perfect. Her skin shimmered under light. She never seemed tired, even after long nights of passion, and her scent. It reminded Adams of rain falling on clay soil, familiar, wet, alive. 3 months later, they were married in the most talked-about wedding in Lagos. But something followed Joy to the city, and that something would cost Adams more than he could ever imagine. Adams and Joy moved into a sleek, ultra-modern mansion in Lekki Phase 1. The house stood tall among palms and fountains, a reflection of Adams' taste, minimalist, yet bold. It was the kind of place designed for love to flourish and for secrets to hide in the shadows. Every morning, Joy woke early to pray. Her voice, melodic yet foreign, filled the marble halls with whispers that didn't sound like any known Nigerian dialect. Adams once asked her what language she spoke, and she replied with a sly smile, "Something old, from where I was born." In public, Joy was the perfect wife, graceful, reserved, endlessly supportive. She accompanied Adams to meetings, smiled for photos, and attended high society brunches where other wives eyed her with a mix of admiration and unease. They said she was too calm, too quiet, like she was watching everyone with a second set of eyes. One evening, while walking by the lagoon near their estate, Joy stopped and stared into the water for what felt like minutes. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Adams stood beside her, confused. "What are you saying?" he asked gently. She didn't look at him. Sometimes the water speaks back. Adams laughed it off, brushing her odd behavior under the rug. After all, many people believed strange things. Maybe she was just spiritual. Maybe it was nothing. But deep down, something didn't feel right. She never spoke about her family. There were no old friends, no baby pictures, not even a Facebook page. It was as though Joy had simply emerged out of nowhere, beautiful and complete. Adams was in love. But love, in Lagos, can be a dangerous thing, especially when it comes with secrets that shimmer like scales beneath the skin. The wedding shut down. Half of Lagos. From Ikoyi to Lekki, traffic was gridlocked as the city's elite turned up for the grand union of tech mogul Adams Ekeocha and his mysterious bride, Joy. The event was held at an exclusive beachside resort, where white canopies danced with the ocean breeze and imported orchids lined every aisle. Adams wore a hand-stitched white agbada embroidered with golden lions, symbolic of strength and royalty. But it was Joy who truly stole the show. She floated down the aisle in a flowing silver dress that shimmered like moonlight on water. Her hair was wrapped in coral beads, her feet bare, her eyes locked on Adams like she was walking toward her prey. When the officiating priest asked Joy if she would love, honor, and cherish Adams forever, her lips curved into a smile that never quite reached her eyes. "Until the river calls," she said softly. People laughed, thinking it was some poetic flair. Adams squeezed her hand. "She means till death," he joked, but a shiver ran down his spine. The after-party was wild, champagne flowed like water, and celebrities mingled with politicians. But something odd happened as the night stretched into dawn. The hotel's lagoon-side lights began to flicker, and several guests complained of hearing strange whispers near the water. One woman even claimed to see a figure submerged just beneath the surface, watching. The next day, the newspapers called it the wedding of the century. Photos of Joy smiling beside Adams flooded social media. But those closest to the couple, the housekeeper, the driver, even Adams' own mother, would later say there was something off about the bride, something they couldn't name. Something old, something wet, something not entirely human. Weeks after the wedding, Joy suggested they take a quiet drive to the outskirts of the city, somewhere less noisy, less human. Adams, eager to please her, agreed without hesitation. They ended up in a forgotten corner near Badagry, where the city gave way to forests, and a silent creek slithered through the land like a sleeping serpent. "This place reminds me of home," Joy said as they walked along the water's edge. The creek was still, unnaturally so, not a ripple, not a breeze. Even the birds kept their distance. The air felt thick, almost watchful. As Joy knelt by the water and touched its surface, a low humming sound rose from her throat. Her eyes rolled back briefly. It lasted only seconds, but it made Adams's skin crawl. When he called her name, she blinked and smiled, brushing it off like nothing had happened. They started walking back to the car when a madwoman stumbled out of the bushes. "He don't come back! She don't return from the river!" the woman shrieked, pointing at Joy with trembling hands. Her clothes were torn, her eyes wild with fear. Joy froze. Adams rushed forward. "Mama, what did you say?" The madwoman grabbed his sleeve, whispering fast. "She no be woman. She be water. River wife. You go die." Before Adams could reply, Joy walked up to the woman and simply stared. The woman fell silent, eyes wide, then turned and ran back into the trees without another word. Back in the car, Adams asked, "What did she mean?" Joy leaned her head against the window, watching the trees blur past. "Mad people see what sane people ignore." He laughed nervously, trying to shake off the unease. But the creek's silence lingered in his mind. Something wasn't right, and soon he would find out just how wrong things could get. Back in their Lekki mansion, the air had changed. It wasn't obvious at first. Just small things. The house. Staff became quieter, more alert. Some refused to stay past sunset. Others whispered among themselves when they thought Joy wasn't listening. Mama Ekeocha, the elderly housekeeper who had been with Adam since his university days, was the first to voice her concern. "Oga," she said one afternoon while serving him palm wine in the study, "this your wife. She day different." Adams raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" Mama Ekeocha looked around before leaning in. "She no day eat salt. Ever. I been try put small for her soup. She no chop am. She pour everything away. And yesterday night, I hear voice we no be human. He come from inside your bedroom. Oga, I swear to God." Adams laughed, though uneasily. "You want me to believe my wife is what? Marine spirit?" But the old woman didn't laugh. She only clutched the rosary tucked into her blouse. "No be everything we find be human. No be every river dry finish." That night, Adams lay beside Joy, her breathing slow and steady. He turned to watch her sleep. Her skin seemed to glow under the moonlight filtering through the blinds. She was beautiful, unreal even. But his mind wouldn't rest. At 2:14 a.m., he awoke to a faint sound, like singing, but not in any language he recognized. It came from the garden. He slipped out of bed quietly and crept to the window. Joy stood in the backyard fountain, eyes closed, arms raised. Water swirled around her ankles, though nothing stirred the air. He stepped back, heart pounding. She had told him once, "Some waters don't forget." Now Adams was beginning to wonder what the water remembered. Adams couldn't shake what he saw that night. Joy in the backyard fountain, eyes closed, chanting in a forgotten tongue. He told himself it had to be a dream, the result of stress or wine, but by morning, doubt gnawed at his thoughts like termites in wood. He decided to stay home from work the next day. While Joy was out shopping in Ekeocha, he entered her walk-in closet, a place she rarely allowed him. Everything was meticulously arranged. Her clothes smelled faintly of mint and river stones, but what caught his attention was the ornate mirror at the end of the room. It was old, carved with symbols that resembled waves and crescent moons. He stepped closer. As he looked into the glass, something changed. His reflection appeared normal, but Joy's, standing just behind him, did not. Her skin in the mirror shimmered, like scales. Her eyes glowed faintly green, and behind her, instead of the closet wall, was a dark body of water stretching into infinity. He turned sharply. No one was there. Adams stumbled back, chest pounding. The mirror now showed only his confused face. Later that evening, he confronted Joy as she poured palm wine by the balcony. "That mirror in your room. Where did you get it?" Joy turned slowly, her voice calm. "It's been in my family for generations. Why?" Adams hesitated. "I think it's showing things that aren't real." Joy's eyes locked with his. "Or maybe it's the only thing showing what's true." She took a sip, smiled, and walked past him into the house. Alone, Adams stared into the night, the distant sound of water echoing in his ears. The mirror haunted Adams long after he left Joy's closet. He avoided it during the day, but at night it called to him, whispering questions his mind refused to answer. Was he living with something otherworldly? That evening he lay awake in bed, watching Joy sleep. She looked peaceful, angelic even. But after midnight, her body began to twitch. Her lips moved in whispers again, words that echoed what he'd heard by the fountain. Then she sat up suddenly. Adams froze. Joy's eyes were still closed, but her hands were clenched, trembling. A low hum filled the room. It was soft at first, then louder, like a current pulling him under. Then her hands relaxed, and blood began to pour from her palms. "Joy!" Adams gasped, leaping out of bed. She didn't respond. She just swayed, still trapped in sleep, humming like a woman communing with spirits. The blood stained the white silk sheets, soaking them fast. He grabbed her arms, shaking her. "Joy, wake up!" Her eyes snapped open. She looked around, dazed, then down at her bloodied hands. "I saw them again," she whispered, "standing beneath the river, calling my name." Adams wrapped her hands in a towel, trembling. But something made him look again. No wounds. The blood was gone. Sheets, clean. Her palms, smooth as ever. Only the memory and the scent of something briny, like ocean salt, remained. He stumbled back in confusion. "Joy, what's happening? To you?" She looked at him, her voice far too calm. "I told you, some dreams are memories. Some blood is borrowed." Adams didn't sleep for the rest of the night. In his own home, beside his own wife, he had begun to feel like a trespasser, surrounded by secrets that no longer stayed buried beneath water and silk. Adams couldn't take it anymore. The bleeding that vanished, the mirror that lied, the whispers, the dreams. His once perfect life had become a waking nightmare. He drove to a Catholic priest in Surulere, an old friend from university. Father Chibuso listened carefully, his fingers tightening around the rosary with every word. "You said her eyes change, that she hears voices from under the river." Adams nodded, ashamed of his fear. The priest leaned back. "There are spirits called Mami Wata, beautiful, seductive, but not human. They take husbands. Sometimes they walk among us. You must leave her, Adams, before she finishes what she was sent for." But when he returned home, the house was silent, too silent. He found Joy standing in the middle of the living room dressed in white, the strange mirror leaning against the wall. Candles flickered in a perfect circle around her feet. "I know where you've been," she said calmly, eyes fixed on him. "You want to leave me." Adams's voice shook. "Joy, I don't know who you are anymore." She walked toward him, barefoot. "I told you, I'm what your world forgot, what your fathers feared. I came with love, but you've tried to cast me out." Then she smiled sadly. Before Adams could run, she stepped closer, whispered something in a language that made the walls tremble, and everything went black. He woke up hours later, in a pool of his own blood, screaming. His manhood gone. Joy stood over him, eyes full of sorrow, but her voice was calm as ever. "You broke your vow. The river takes back its due." Then she turned and walked barefoot into the night, toward the ocean. They never found her. But sometimes, near the Lekki coastline, fishermen swear they hear a woman humming beneath the waves, waiting to love again.